Hey guys, what's going on? It's the end of December, just before Christmas 2020, and I decided to make this short video related to a bunch of questions I was getting about some of the small videos I've been posting about this device I'm riding. It's an EUC, an electronic unicycle. And what is that? It's a wheel that is motorized, and it moves based off a gyro inside of it, that if you lean forward, it goes forward, you lean backward, it goes back, or in this case, it would brake or slow down. And they vary in motor sizes, battery capacity, overall weight, the size of the wheel. This one here I'm riding is a 19 or 20 inch wheel. So why would you want to ride one? As soon as I saw one for the first time on YouTube, I decided this looked like a whole lot of fun, and I wanted to go for it. And I couldn't have picked a better time to decide to learn how to ride. It was during the first part of the year in 2020, which is the pandemic year, and everything was closed down. I am a musician by trade, and they were definitely not having entertainment. So I found that I had a lot of time to try new things. I thought it would be kind of cool if, I could apply some of my music background, production background, and not only doing something that I really enjoy, which is riding one of these, but also produce the background music and editing and shooting all the video for these, because those are also things that I really like to do. Why would learning how to ride one of these be beneficial? Well, I have found that it's been really relaxing to just kind of go out for a cruise, and also I've been able to explore parts of my community that I would have never explored otherwise, where walking or running I would only be able to cover maybe 10% of the distance and the time. And some of the riding I do is on the street, so I could cover that distance with a vehicle, but like most people, we see these roads that go somewhere else. We never really take them because we're usually too busy, and because it is unfamiliar and it's not somewhere we have to go to get to where we're going, I can go down a road that I would have never driven down before because I'm not concerned about getting stuck. So there's two reasons. It's pretty relaxing once you get used to riding, and then going on adventures and seeing some stuff that you never really would have seen before, and you see it from a different perspective. Another good reason is it's a really, really convenient and good form of transportation. They're about 20% the size of a bicycle. They can reach up to, mine here will go 40 miles an hour without too much fear of cutout. But it can maintain a 30 mile an hour speed continuously. Now, of course, at that speed, you're not going to get the best range, but I have been able to maintain an average of 25 to 30 miles an hour, and I've been able to get approximately 35 miles out of one charge on my wheel. The wheel I'm riding is an MSX Pro, or also known as an MSP, from Gotway. There have been many times I've put a backpack on and I've gone down to my local Home Depot and I picked up some small things where I didn't necessarily have to have my truck. I was actually able to get to the Home Depot and back to my house in a much shorter time than it would have taken me if I would have driven there with my vehicle. So how much? Well, they do vary in price quite a bit. If we're talking straight brand new retail, you can get into a very inexpensive intermediate wheel for like around $500, maybe even less if you find a good deal. I highly suggest not buying an off-brand wheel, just because the brand names like InMotion, Gotway, and Kingsong all have street cred. So my very first wheel I bought was an InMotion wheel, and I bought it because it had a lot of really good safety features that I thought was a good idea at the time when I was learning. So spending $500, $600 on something that may not wind up using seems like an awful lot of money. Okay, so where are you supposed to look for one of these wheels? I found the used one on Craigslist, but I also found some used ones on eBay. So those are two good options for used wheels. I'm sure there might be one in your area where it could wind up on Facebook Marketplace. But the best thing to do really is just keep your eyes peeled and keep searching. If you're like me and don't want to deal with the potential issues that come along with a used electric unicycle, you might as well have the mindset that if you do pick it up relatively quickly, you're gonna want to get a new wheel after you've taken your initial bumps and bruises with the first wheel, because it's gonna fall over and it's gonna get scratched. That's why spending a lot of money on your first wheel, maybe not such a great idea, but if you're super concerned and you do buy a new wheel, most of all of InMotion's wheels come with covers, or you can buy them separately, and those do save the wheel quite a bit. So now moving out of intermediate into a higher end wheel, you can be anywhere from $900 to $4,000 plus. What are you paying more money for? You're paying for a larger motor that will have more torque and more acceleration and more top speed, and you're paying for a larger battery. That way you can go further without having to charge as frequently. The wheel I'm riding, the MSP, I paid right around $2,000 for this wheel. The wheel that I had before it, my beginner wheel, I paid about $900 for that one, and it was the InMotion V10F, which was a great wheel. And I really like InMotion wheels because they have some safety features built into them, but they do limit the top speed on their wheels, and Kingsong sort of does the same thing. Gotway, the one I'm riding, is more like the sports car edition of an EUC. So they're more about performance and getting the most out of the motors and the batteries. Now, what about gear? So when you first start learning to ride one, I recommend that you have knee protection, elbow protection, and wrist guards. I highly recommend the wrist guards, if nothing else, when you first begin. And that's usually the first thing that gets pretty rashed up are the palms of your hands, and you can really hurt your wrist if you land too hard. So why don't I suggest a helmet right away, or knee pads and shin guards and elbow pads immediately? I think those are good things to have. I don't think they're entirely necessary right away, because when you first start learning to ride one, it's not like you're moving at the speed I'm moving now. You're just trying to move a little bit and get used to the feel of how the wheel operates. So you're almost stationary. Really what's going to happen is when you crash at first, I don't even like calling it crashing because it's really not crashing at all. It's more like you running off of the wheel as the wheel falls over. One thing I can suggest at this point, but there are other videos online that have some great content about learning how to ride an EUC for the first time. The one thing I can stress is if you're going to fall, or if you feel like you're going to fall and you run off of it, just let the wheel fall. Don't try to catch the wheel. They are built to fall over. So don't reach down and grab the wheel and it take off or whip around and then you've cut your finger or maybe broke something in the process. Well, hopefully this video was helpful in answering some of those questions. If you have any other questions, hit me up in the comments or you can direct message me. And I'll be happy to either point you in a direction of where to look for the information you're seeking, or maybe I'll just have it and I'll message you right back. If you're not following my channel, I would really appreciate it if you did. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and follow my Facebook page, The Wheel Life. Thanks for hanging out with me for a minute, and till next time, later.